welcome to another episode of Wine and Chisme. And this week we have the wonderful licensed therapist and certified wellness menopause coach, Susie Cortez. Hola, Susie. How are you?
Hey, good. Thank you. I'm so excited. Thank you so much. I feel very honored to be part of this podcast.
Uh, I am so
Yeah.
excited because, like we were talking right before I hit record, I've talked about what I've gone through in regards to my
Mm.
hysterectomy. We've touched on it, but we really haven't gotten into like menopause, let alone with somebody who has over 20 years of experience really
Yeah.
helping women go. And I'm sure not just women, I'm sure helping partnerships go
Yes.
through it.
Yes. Yeah.
So I I am so excited. I'm ready to just
Yeah.
dive in. So let me read your bio and then we
Okay.
will get into if you are drinking wine or
I
not.
am.
If all right, you can share what you're drinking and then
Yes.
we'll get into it. Susie Cortez, LCSW, is a licensed therapist and certified wellness menopause coach with over 20 years of experience helping individuals navigate life's most challenging transitions. She began her career as a county social worker, specializing in adoption services, and went on to provide therapy through several nonprofit organizations, deepening her commitment to serving diverse communities with compassion and care. For the past decade, she has held leadership roles within major health organizations where she led transformational change and championed mental health initiatives across the system. Today, she brings her clinical insight and leadership experience to her work as a wellness coach, empowering women in perimenopause and menopause to live fully and thrive through this pivotal area. I can't wait to before we get into the wine. I
Yeah.
can't wait to get into it because I feel like you've been seeing it a little bit more on social
Oh,
media
yeah. It's
with
a
people
movement.
talking about
Mhm.
it and obviously like our moms didn't really talk about it there
Mm-mm.
and I'll share a little bit of what the grief we used to give my mom.
Yeah. Yes.
Now I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, mom.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, tell me, what are you drinking today, Susie?
Oh, so, and part of what I'll share, hopefully I can share with you, when you age and you start midlife, and if you have kids, and you get in this empty nest stage, you pick up hobbies, and you start to do things for yourself and find passions, and that's actually that helps us get through this midlife. So one of my passions, besides educating women on perimenopause, is wine, and that's why I actually was introduced to your podcast many years ago when I wanted to start educating, similar probably in your passion, women, especially Latinas, on wine, because we weren't taught we weren't taught about our bodies or about alcohol.
Right.
I mean, maybe beer or tequila, but
Yeah,
not about
exactly.
wine. And being in leadership roles and going to like dinners with people and they serve wine, I was like kind of feel lost. And so I went into my own wine journey, and I can come back for another episode to talk about that. But one of the passions was to find Latino winemakers. And so the first Latino winemaker I found in Paso, so Paso Robles is our go-to. That's where we want to retire and hopefully, um, spend the rest of our end life there. And so we met Edgar Torres. I don't know if you know Bodega, the Edgar, but Edgar Torres is
Yes.
an amazing winemaker in Paso Robles, and so I'm drinking his wine, and he has many. He has a Tempranillo, which I heard in one of your your
Oh,
podcasts that you love. Tempranillo, I think that's what you said.
yeah, I love
Um,
tempranillo. I love the spiciness
yes,
of a
but
tempranillo.
this is not a Tempranillo. It's a Mourvèdre and Cap combo. So that's kind of, I don't know if you can see the bottle.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
we haven't had him on the podcast yet, but we literally then the first Wednesday of April we're having Rook wines,
Oh yeah, I
and
saw. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm super excited. Like her wine was so
Hmm.
good, and it was so cool because she's actually from San Diego.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
so she was here, so we actually got to sit down here at my play at my house and go through some of her wine. So I can't wait for hers.
Yeah.
So I am actually this I
Yes.
poured the last glass of a Pinot Blanc from the Carneros Valley in Napa. It's Ortega family
Yes.
wines, and Jesus was actually the um he was the first Wednesday of March of he was our wine feature.
Yeah. Remember I said I have to go back to listen to the ones I really wanted to look at. I'm like, oh, I better listen to the body ones, the health ones to
Yeah,
compare.
yeah. You're like, but I'm gonna go back. No, I love
Yes.
it because you're
Yeah.
so right. We don't get taught. It's like
Mm-mm.
going to family functions. It's mostly beer, liquor,
Hmm.
tequila, right?
Yeah.
And that's same thing. I've just really been trying to educate people. One, that there are Latino wine brands. That's why I created
Yes.
the directory.
Yes.
But two, that wine doesn't have to be bougie. Like I had, by the time this comes out, it'll be a while, but
Yeah.
I recently posted something on social media of me in like a Wonder Woman shirt and some cotton shorts drinking wine because I don't, unless I'm going out or having
Yes.
people over, unless it's like an event,
Yes.
that's how I'm drinking wine. Like
Yes.
I
Yeah.
you don't need to be dressed up, it doesn't need to
No.
be fancy. There's and there's such great wines, and the fact that so a majority of the stewards of the vines come from our community. It's
Yes.
super important that we acknowledge that there's not enough wine brands that are owned by our
Yeah.
community, but it also doesn't have to be bougie, and the wines are made a lot. I think general market wine doesn't necessarily have our palates in mind
Right.
when it comes to
Yeah, very
pairing.
good point. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I mean, I could talk about wine so much because I just love the story of how the wine gets in the bottle. And
Yes.
once you learn about winemaking and you go wine tasting and you hear about how they pick it, and especially the small boutique wines that really the winemakers themselves are going out and now it's ready to be harvested, and how they really take care of it like a baby. And so when you
Yeah.
drink it, it's just you appreciate it. So I agree, but I have to say this because I'm going to send this podcast to all my friends and family, and they call me bougie sometimes with wine. And it's only because I don't have to dress bougie, but I just like good wine because I don't want a headache. And so sometimes if you go to parties, they're like, "Oh, did we bring the good wine for you?" I'm like, "No, it doesn't have to be expensive wine. I just like it to be
Quality.
quality wine." Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. And a lot of times,
Yeah.
and we're talking, well, and I know we'll get more into it,
Yeah.
but when I've had a lot of friends as they've gotten older and
Hmm.
hit menopause or perimenopause say, like, wine gives me a headache, or wine gives, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, well, what quality of wine are you drinking?
Exactly.
Because if you're not drinking good quality wine, and people blame like sulfates, but the
Yeah.
reality is it's a very, very small percentage of people that are actually allergic to sulfates. So it's
Right.
not the sulfates, it's
Yeah.
the quality of the wine that you're drinking.
Exactly. Yes.
So,
So we agree.
okay, well, salud,
Yes,
Susie.
yes.
I'm
Cheers.
super excited. Oh, so good. It's been a warm day here today, but
Hmm.
like I said, I'm excited that we're going to be talking about women's health,
Yes.
about menopause, perimenopause, the effects, and all of that, because I've shared my journey, which led me to get a hysterectomy in November of 2024. So I've noticed some things like immediately. I've noticed some things now. It's something that I feel like our generation is finally talking about, because
Yeah.
previous, like, you wouldn't really hear about it. So where, like, before
Yeah.
we get into some of those questions and some of that information, where did, like, for you to be doing this for 20 years, where did that come
Yeah.
from? Like, what made you go, you know what? I am
Yeah.
going to start talking to women about their bodies and what happens when they're going perimenopause and menopause.
Yeah. Well, I think I've been a therapist for over 20 years, and I've always gravitated to working with women and working with teenage girls. And I learned early on, but I didn't know yet because I was still early on in my career as a therapist, and I really didn't know a lot what I know now until probably about 5 years ago. And then the last 2 3 years it's really amped up. This, I call it the movement, the menopause movement. But I knew there was some hormonal connection to some of from a lot of the symptoms we were getting. I would be meeting with a lot of adolescent girls in my practice. I started off working with children and families as a therapist, and I just loved working with teenage girls. And I didn't know, I didn't have the connection of their hormones causing some of their moods and their behaviors and some of the depressive symptoms. But now that I've been in the field more, I know way more. It's not only that, it's also our background. A lot of women of color, Black women, brown women, we have traumatic backgrounds, we have trauma, and all that also affects our bodies, which also then affects our hormones and the symptoms we display, either emotionally, physically. And so I always just wanted to learn more. And so I always wanted to make sure I worked with women. And to be honest, though, I didn't really have the education of actually learning about perimenopause until I was in perimenopause, because I have a very similar story that I know you have and a lot of the women you've had on, where I was dismissed by doctors, and I would go in for one symptom, and I was, you're given like, oh, just deal with that one symptom. You're just given either medication or something,
Yeah.
and it wasn't until I just like, no, like this is not right. I don't feel right. I, as a therapist, had my first, and thank God, only panic attack when I was in my early 40s, and I was at my son's football game, and I was just like, what's wrong with me? And I started having all the symptoms, and I knew what it was because I worked with women that would come in with panic attacks, but I was in denial, like, why am I having, like, like it just,
They say doctors make
yes,
the worst
right. So
patients.
then I'm like, what's happening? And then I went, everyone around me and my friends who were also in the field were like, Susie, it sounds like a panic attack. I'm like, I know, but like, why? And not, like, so odd things, not until I really realized that was probably the start of one of my first perimenopause symptoms was that. And it just bothered me when I would have symptoms, especially the emotional ones, the mental health ones, because I found myself, very naive, of course, like, oh no, I'm strong. I have coping skills. I help people with depression or anxiety. Like, I shouldn't be experiencing it. Well, of course, everyone does. But when I was experiencing it and I couldn't really put a pin or a dotted line to why I was having those symptoms, I would go to the doctors and started to research more and finally found the doctors that were coming up in social media that were talking about perimenopause, and then connecting the dots and realizing, oh my God. And then I started to see more in my practice and working with therapists. I'm a manager of therapists, and they would come to me, and it was a common theme. Women in 40s, 50s, honestly, starts at 35, coming in with their first time having depression and anxiety. And not everybody with depression and anxiety, it's because of hormones. But if the first time you're ever having it is around 40s, then we really want to look at it. Could it be hormone related?
I didn't realize that
Mhm.
like that was happening to women as they're hitting perimenopause and everything. Because I think, well, to be perfectly honest, I don't even know if everybody knows. Can
Yeah.
you
Yes.
explain what
Yes. Yes.
perimenopause even is? Because I feel like people are like, I'm getting to that age. I don't know. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
it's just because it's not something that, honestly, unless you're bringing it up to your doctor, it feels like it's not something that your doctors talk to you about.
They don't. And a lot of doctors, there's more and more now, doctors that are getting educated because it is a movement. There are celebrities that have come out with books. Naomi Watts, Halle Berry has a product. Oprah had a special a year ago. So there's the FDA finally took the black box out of HRT, hormone replacement therapy. So it is a movement in the last few years where the stigma is going down, just like when mental health had a movement and no one wanted to admit they went to a therapist. Now everybody says, "Oh, I have a therapist." Similar with menopause, I feel like it's a stigma coming down, and people are okay to say, "I'm in perimenopause" or "I'm in menopause." But so perimenopause is before when you start having symptoms. Well, it's easier to explain what menopause is, and we can talk about perimenopause. But menopause is when you go a full year. It has to be 12 months without a menstrual cycle. And once you reach that 12-month, then you can say you're in menopause.
That's
Unfortunately, or
me.
yes, or you are in a forced menopause because of a hysterectomy or some surgery. The other thing is women will go, and I've experienced this. My longest was 4 months, and then I was like, yes, it's going, and then I would get my, so I'm not nowhere near the 12 months, because I go like 2, 3 months. 4 months was my longest, and then it comes. So I'm in perimenopause still. So menopause is after the 12 months of no period. Perimenopause is all the years before that. And so that is what most women are now getting educated. I think all of us kind of heard menopause or knew what menopause was. You don't have a period anymore, but we were not ever educated. Most Latinos, most women and mothers don't talk about it, but especially in our culture, we definitely don't talk about your bodies or any sexual parts of our body. I think it was somebody on your podcast, and they shouldn't even hear about what a period was. You just don't hear these things. And what's very frustrating, a lot of my friends, they'll now go to their moms if they're still alive, and they're still in denial. Like, oh no, I didn't go through that. Oh no. It's just like we suffer through it, like we have to, as Latinas, suffer through this. We
Right.
don't want to admit that we had symptoms. But if I look back at my mom or my aunts in the kitchen during holidays, they were always waving themselves. They were always hot. My mom was always sweating and saying she was hot. So I don't honestly think she even knew that some of those symptoms were related to her hormones. But what they're saying is perimenopause can be up to 10 years before that menopause year. And so if you do the math, menopause could start definitely all ages, but around 48 to about 55. So about 48 to 55 is when you stop having your period. Some women report younger, some women report even older. And gosh, I hope that's not me because I'm going to be 53 and I'm still getting my period. I'm like, I'm going to be that lucky one that's going to be at 55.
Yay!
Oh my gosh. But if you're the earlier ones and you're 48 or, people that have said 45, then you do the math 10 years before that, that can be 35 that you can start having symptoms. Now, symptoms, there's so many, Jessica, but we talked about one I think before, which was the itching of the ear. That one is when people
So
really,
random.
yes. And then when you hear it, you're like, oh my God, and the reason for the itching, so it's not just the itching of the ear, it's itching of all over our bodies, is because of dryness. So estrogen and progesterone and many other, testosterone as well, and other hormones are declining, starting around 35 to 40. And so we have a whole bunch up until about 35, and then they start to decline. But it's not a easy decline. It's not like a nice little decline. It's what they call the chaos. It's like this. And so that's why women report feeling like this and not themselves. And so, I mean, the common symptoms that people would hear is hot flashes. And so definitely a lot of women, especially women of color, actually there are statistics that Black women have the highest. It's called vasomotor symptoms, and they suffer the most with hot flashes. And then Latinas are next. Not only that, women of color experience symptoms longer than white women. So we're the ones that usually are going this 10 years,
Yay!
right? Like if things
Us
couldn't be worse.
overachieving again.
So yeah, and so yeah, hot flashes, weight gain, poor sleep. Um, the biggest one is the brain fog, memory loss, low libido. So your sex drive goes out the window as well. And
That's a
all of,
rough one.
yeah, and all
That
of
is a
these
rough
contribute.
one.
If you're gaining weight and you're also dealing with night sweats and hot flashes and you're itching, you just don't feel sexy either. You don't feel very sexual, but then there are women that report their sexual drive is gone. So it's not even that you don't feel it, you actually don't even have it. And the itching is the dryness. So with the estrogen declining, apparently it dries our bodies up. So we itch all over the place. We can have our booty itches. A lot of women report ears itching, just if you ever just itch all over. dry
I
mouth.
think talking about it is making
I know
me
it's making me itch, right? And that's what makes our mouth dry and our eyes dry. So we have to make sure we lubricate our eyes. If you find your eyes getting a little bit more blurry at night, that has to do with our dryness.
that I
Um,
never even thought about it, but it
yes.
does.
Some women, some dentists report, there's a documentary that a lot of women have seen. It's on PBS, and there's a dentist on that documentary say that there's a percentage of women in perimenopause, menopause that start losing their teeth and have more oral health issues. And it's all again due to the loss of hormones. Isn't that crazy?
That's so crazy. I mean, so my mom didn't, she had a hysterectomy in her 30s. So she
Mm,
didn't really have perimenopause. She just went straight into like pre, I guess, I don't know, that period of recovery and menopause.
mm-hmm,
Um, so we didn't see those types of symptoms with her, but she definitely suffered from hot flashes and stuff like that and mood swings.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And we used to make fun of her, right? Like, did
mm-hmm.
you like, did you take your hormones? Did you take da 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 da? And she would get so mad and she would get hot
Oh.
flashes, and I think for a long time that was when this like probably first happened the first few years.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I started going through it, I was like, Mom, I am so sorry.
Right, I know.
I am so sorry because after I had my hysterectomy, it took almost 2 months to get my hormone replacement therapy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I was a mess,
Yeah.
crying. Like where I'm watching like Christmas movies, not even sad Christmas movies, and I'm bawling my eyes out for no reason,
Yeah, I know.
right? And like I said, I didn't, the ear wasn't itching until after my
Mm-hmm,
hysterectomy, and I started noticing my right ear, not my
mm-hmm,
left, it's only my right ear itching all the time. And I'm like always messing with it. And I'm like, don't mess with it because I grew up having a lot
mm-hmm.
of ear infections and
Yeah,
stuff. And so I was like, don't. And I even noticed like the wax in my ear
yeah.
hardened up. Like it's really hard now versus
Mm,
before.
yeah.
And I didn't think that it had anything to do with my hysterectomy. And something came up on, I don't know if it was Threads, if it was TikTok, something came up on social media talking about the itching of the ear. And I was like, what? This has to
Mm-hmm.
do with menopause? What in the world? And I haven't experienced, and here's the crazy thing. I've not I don't have hot flashes. I have warm spells, but not hot flashes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I've experienced hot flashes twice before all of this happened.
Yeah.
Um, where all of a sudden I felt like I couldn't function. I got so
Mm.
warm, and it made me like I felt like I was on fire.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's how it feels.
I was just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And I had to sit down and I started getting a little like nauseous,
Mm,
and I didn't know what it was. And I was like, is that a hot flash? And I was probably in my 30s,
mm,
but I had no idea. And I was like, oh my gosh, if this is a hot flash, one, why did I get it? And two, holy crap, I never want to have that again.
yeah.
And then
Yeah, I had a really bad, Jessica.
did
Yeah.
you?
Yes,
Oh my gosh, I don't.
it
Oh,
was night sweats and hot flashes. And I'd always be around people and being like, "Are you hot? Are you hot?" After like a few months of this, on my friends and my husband, I'd be like, "No, Susie, it's you. It's hot flashes." And again, in denial. And then at night, I would wake up drenched in sweat. And so that's when I went to the doctor and again advocated. And a lot of doctors still go in this practice or that they don't want to give hormone replacement therapy until you reach menopause. But the doctors, or the new research is coming out, it's helpful when you reach menopause, but it's actually more helpful before when you're in perimenopause. And so finally I had to go outside of my healthcare plan and pay out of pocket to get it. And then I finally went back to my healthcare plan and they finally covered it. But the minute I put that patch on, they were gone. They were gone. And I was like,
it's
it
amazing.
changes your life.
I remember, do you remember the Suzanne Summers era when
Yeah.
she was talking about that.
Yes,
Like
yes. I
she
always
was
tell
the
people that
first
she was.
celebrity to talk about menopause and
Yes.
hormone. And she didn't, I don't think she did like traditional hormone
She
replacement
didn't. She did a whole
therapy.
bunch of home remedies, I remember, but she did
Yeah.
talk about it. Yes, I do remember. And hormone replacement therapy, just because there are going to be listeners, they in 2002 came out with the medical journal came out that it caused cancer. And
Because it was going to elevate your estrogen levels,
yes,
right? And they said it would cause
yeah,
breast cancer. It
yes.
would cause breast cancer.
And so they have dissected that whole journal art and journal article and found out the data pool were older women that had um, history of breast cancer. And so they basically have debunked that whole journal article. And that's why this menopause movement is coming up because now doctors are feeling some doctors are feeling more comfortable prescribing hormone replacement therapy, but a lot of doctors from the old school thought was like, no, that causes cancer. And I mean, everybody has to go to their doctors and everybody has to know their own history and what risk factors they have. But I'm definitely an advocate to women to look into it and don't suffer. Like you don't need to suffer.
I
Um,
advocate for it
yeah,
too. I'm on
yeah.
it. I have my patch on now.
Yes.
Actually, I gotta trade it out today. And
Yeah.
it's so crazy because I remember when my mom had it, it was like a big band-aid is
Oh,
what it looked
really?
like. Yeah.
Oh, so
And
they've
now
come a
it's
long
just like,
way. Yes.
oh yeah, totally. When I showed my mom, she was like, that's so little. Oh my gosh, I wish
Uh,
would have been like that when I needed it. And
uh,
but no, I mean, I remember the whole Suzanne Summers thing. I mean, it came back again with the Sex
yeah.
and the City 2 movie
Yes,
with
yes,
all of the creams
yes,
and the thing. And I don't I'm hoping the shortage. There was like a shortage
yes,
on the
I
patches
know.
very recently. I was going through it.
Yeah,
And so I'm online looking for like what can I do?
yes,
Like how can I help during this period? So I bought some flax seeds. I was adding, and I do love chickpeas. So I was adding
yeah,
chickpeas into
yes,
everything.
yeah,
I mean, I was like, what can I do? Because I am like instant, like after a couple, I would say a week or two, that's when I really was feeling it. I was having night sweats, not all the time and not super
hmm
bad, but I was having night sweats.
mm. So you
Um,
you did couldn't get your refill because of
I
the
couldn't get my
shortage,
refill
and
because of the
so oh
shortage.
gosh, yeah, and so then after a few weeks, because it took that long for you to
It
get
took
it.
that long.
Oh my gosh,
And I
that
was
was my
calling
fear.
and
Yeah.
CVS even I will say this, the CVS that I go to is really
hmm
awesome because they were calling me, letting me know, hey, we haven't got it yet. We're looking out for it. We're like they were keeping
Oh
up to date,
yeah, yeah.
keeping me up to date. Then I went to like a couple other pharmacies. No, because I was like,
Nobody.
they're like, we can't, there's none in the CVS in San Diego County. We can't find any.
Yeah,
And because they're like, if we can find it, we'll transfer it over. They
yeah,
couldn't. And then I went to uh like a independent pharmacy,
yeah,
and they also do compound. It's also a
yeah.
compound pharmacy. They're like, we're also out of it. If your
Oh my
doctor wants to
gosh.
send for a cream, we can, create a cream for you. We can have a cream for you. But it was, yeah, it felt like forever to
Yeah,
get, I
I
mean, to
hope I
get
never
it.
have to experience that because I do know and I've heard I got reached out to a lot of during that time to ask if I knew any home remedies and I did go to this conference last year and I have my screenshots of certain vitamins, a combination of vitamins and the certain thing. I don't have it memorized, but I was just giving people that option. But really, I know some for people like me, I mean, I don't know, and it sounds like you, it's just like we really need that estrogen because um, you were experiencing the symptoms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that, obviously everybody has to make their own
hmm
decision when it comes to
hmm
that. We're like, if somebody is deciding, okay, do
Yeah,
I go? Because there are always people who would rather go like a homeopathic
yeah,
method.
yeah.
Where would they go to decide, like, should I outside? Maybe they have a discussion with their doctor. We know that there are
Right.
people who are like, well, of course, the doctor is just going to hand me medicine. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's what I want. So, what other places are there for people to go to decide for to the best thing for them to
Yeah.
try out at least, right? Because maybe you try the
Yeah.
homeopathic method and then you're like, oh no, this is just not enough. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go the other way.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're in like me, like a shortage, right? And you're like, I honestly didn't know where to go. I was just Googling stuff and I don't know if I really found enough information by
Yeah.
Dr. Google, but I found something that
Yeah.
I was at least trying.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, obviously, I'll always consult with your doctor, and there are now a lot of clinics that have come up in the last year, and I don't know, and I'm not connected or sponsor any of them, but I do hear a lot of good things about MIDI Health, MIDI. That one's
Mm,
some that is a lot of people are pretty saying good things about. And I would assume they would have practitioners that can talk you through both um,
ear itch.
medication. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and then I would probably go to if you have like if people have locally, like I have locally in my area, um, a store that is sells all vitamins and herbal stuff. And a lot of times they have specialists that work there that can help you through buying products. There are products that can help. There's teas. I know I think it's vitamin E combined with a certain spice that will help with, like, depending on your symptoms. So if somebody has hot flashes, but they don't want to take HRT, there's certain things that you can go. I don't like if there's a website, people can always Google and stuff like that. But you're right. There's not really like a one place. I would always start with your doctor, try some of these reputable health clinics that they're all virtual and so they're easy. And I don't know how expensive and if they take insurances, but I do know there's a few out there that I love. I have her book here, Dr. Mary Claire Haber. I don't know if you've heard of her. She
No.
has this book, and she has a
Oh,
new book.
yeah, I've seen the book. I haven't, I didn't
Yeah,
the author.
she is really the main leader that has started one of the main doctors that started the movement. I would follow her on Instagram. I follow her on Instagram. I've learned so much from her. She has a guide like you have your guide for wine. She has a guide on her website for practitioners that are specialists in menopause. And so I would, if people are able to go outside their insurance, but that's also a decision that's hard for people. They don't have money to pay out of pocket.
I
Um,
mean, right now, let's just
yeah,
be honest. It's
yeah,
like the healthcare was already in a crisis in our country, and this administration has just
yes, oh
really
yes,
fucked it up.
oh yeah. No, I 100% agree. So, but I mean, and then there's people like me. There's menopause coaches that could also walk with women to help them. I help women specifically with the lifestyle changes because even if I'm on HRT, I still need to make my lifestyle changes. If you're not taking HRT, you definitely need to for sure make some lifestyle adjustments, even a little bit more so.
Wine break. Time to refill that glass and come back for more wine and chisme. Ever wonder where you can find the wines I drink that are made by people who actually look like us? Mi gente, I got you covered because I created the first and most comprehensive director of Latiné owned wine brands based in the United States. And yes, it is exactly as good as it sounds. From California to Puerto Rico and everything in between, I mean, we are talking about over 100 Latiné owned wine brands, all in one place, ready for you to discover, sip, and support. This is the director that I wish existed before I built it. So you never have to search far to find wines that represent our cultura, our gente, and our stories. So head over to the wineandchismepodcast.com to explore the full directory. The link is also in the show notes of every episode, so you have zero excuses not to check it out. So
Because
yeah, let's talk about like
yeah,
what are those types of lifestyle adjustments if you are if you're perimenopause or menopause, um,
Yes,
to help just live your life because it
I
feels like,
know.
honestly, for me, it was just a big weight off because I was bleeding so much. I mean, I was bleeding
Yeah,
3 out of 4 weeks a month. That there
yeah.
I bled through my wedding dress. I like when I
Mm.
took my wedding dress off and my husband was like, "Holy fucking shit. Are you
Oh
kidding?"
man, Jessica. Yeah, I've heard you in the other podcast say that, and I wasn't as severe as you, but about up until a year ago, I was the same way as far as 2, 3 weeks out of the month having periods, and um, yeah, I know you've said this in some of the podcasts if you get grossed out, but like I same as clots and the whole thing.
Mhm.
And honestly, up until recently, I was still having that. And I don't know how I've had so many of those. How one of the doctors you have, the doctor from Spain that you have, Ella, is it?
Oh
That's
yeah, she's
you.
from Mexico. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she's talked
Ellen,
about her or the other woman you had talked about this
Joe Delgado.
um procedure. I've had it like 3 times where they have to do like a biopsy inside me because they're so worried about my bleeding and all these things. And then they scrape me out. And then they always say, oh, yeah, we took some fibroids out. That's probably going to cause, but it's like, well, what now? And so they have talked to me about hysterectomies. They have talked to me about this other ablation type of thing where they
Oh yeah, where they burn them.
burn you, all these different things. Somebody will get on birth control. And it's just, it depends on the doctor I'm seeing at the time, what they're going to say. And it's confusing. Even for me that has the education, I still sit there in the doctor's office like someone who doesn't have any of the education. And I'm just looking at them like, I, I'm confused, So thank God, like I said, I'm going on a few months now with nothing. So I'm hoping I'm going on the menopause train now, but I won't, I'm not going to get too excited. So, point is yes, there's lifestyle changes that we all need to make because unfortunately, because of the loss in the estrogen and progesterone, our bodies change. So the first thing that a lot of people that are going to hear this probably have heard it all over social media, but I'm just going to reiterate it. We have to move. And so I think the movement is now the message is different when we're in our 20s, right? We got to go running, do aerobics. We got to do like, I don't know,
Yeah.
Ironman. We got to do all these crazy things. Well, that's what I would think I had to do. I'm like, oh, I have to do the Zumba class, and then I got to do a step class, got to do cycling.
It was all about cardio.
Yes, and it's like, no, you just got to move. And so I always just tell women I work with, like, what do you do now? Do you do any movement? And we start with the baseline. We don't go crazy, but like if people do already exercise, great. And a lot of women come because they're exercising even more. They're eating better and they're not losing weight. They're gaining weight. Yeah.
That's exactly
And
where I
so,
was.
yes, and so it's very frustrating. And so the movement's important. And so I always tell people the walking. Walking is like most people can walk, not everybody. Some people do have bad backs and some disabilities, but if you can walk, find a walking partner, find a walking group, find somebody you can, podcast. I think I always promote podcasts when you walk. You can audiobooks. But you can do 45 minutes in an hour by listening to one of your, podcasts or about an hour and 15 minutes. There you go. And you have a good exercise.
When I listen to
So
podcasts a lot,
yeah,
it's when I'm walking because, or if I'm like driving by myself, because if I'm with my husband, he doesn't always
yeah,
want to listen to the same things
yeah,
as I
yeah, yeah,
am. But yeah, that's when I listen to different podcasts, is when I'm walking,
yeah.
walking the dogs, walking. But when I'm doing my like, because I'm training for a half marathon, to walk a half marathon, not run,
Yeah, yeah.
to walk, that's when I listen to music because I need to
Yeah,
have
you
that.
need that. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but when I'm like, I do a morning, I do, just with the dogs, I do anywhere from 1 to 2.5 miles a day just with the
Yeah,
dogs, depending. And
that's good.
yeah, and
Yeah,
I'll listen to a podcast or two, depending on how long it is. And
yeah,
because I don't have to have that, like,
yeah, yeah.
motivation. They're sniffing away and
Oh
whatever.
yes, I have one myself, so I get it. Yeah, so movement is important. Find something you love, and that's the really the key. If you like dancing, try, join a dancing club. If you like swimming, try to find a local pool, hiking. There's so many things if you're local, San Diego, LA, or we have beautiful weather. There's no excuse. So movement is huge, and then obviously our what we bring into our bodies, what we eat, and what we drink. And so going back to the wine, so the eating, we again, I'm sure we've all heard this, but I'm just going to reiterate protein. We need more protein as we get older. And the amount of protein I hear we need is so high, and it can be overwhelming. Like all of this can be overwhelming for women. Like, oh my God, I need a walk, I need protein, I need fiber. I just won't do any of it. And I always tell women, start baby steps. Just start one thing this week. Don't worry about the food. Just start movement this week, right? And then next week, try adding a little bit of more protein, right? So if you like yogurt or cottage cheese. A lot of people don't like cottage cheese. I actually like it, but you can blend cottage cheese and put some honey in it, and it's actually really good. I like to give tips because cottage cheese has a lot of protein.
I love my
Yogurt,
Greek yogurt.
yes, Greek yogurt,
Girl, I
and
use it like, and here's the thing, because I don't think it doesn't taste plain Greek yogurt doesn't taste
yeah,
very far off from sour cream.
yeah. Oh yeah, you put use it as sour
I
cream.
use it as a substitute, and I don't even tell my husband. He's like, "Oh, this is so good." Because anytime,
Mm.
because if I were to tell him, like, if I say you want Greek yogurt, instead, he's like, "No." But when I don't tell him, he
Oh yeah.
has no idea.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, good. Yeah, yogurt, protein. So yeah, eating right. We need protein. We need fiber because our digestive system also slows down as we age, and so a lot of women report digestive problems, and so that's why we need more fiber. And there's lots of things you can add more fiber. Chia seeds is
I
like
put chia seeds in my
simple, just put chia seeds in your yogurt. There you go. You have your protein and your fiber. I call them, somebody said this and I stole it, dual citizen food items where you can get both, into one. And then the drinking, I would love to say, I will just stop drinking alcohol, and maybe one day I will, but I love wine. I love a good tequila sometimes as well. It's a diuretic. That's what I tell myself. Tequila's a diuretic.
So it's okay. It's helping me.
Right. But I have cut down. And so if we go out on a Friday night, my husband and I love to go out to dinner with some other couple friends, and we still well, they still do. I just don't partake as much, but bring lots of bottles of wine. And now I just make more of an effort to tell myself, you know what, I can have one glass and that's good. So again, I tell people, you do what works for you. Red wine will increase hot flashes. And so if you're not on HRT and you already have hot flashes, and you love your wine, it's not going to help. There's something about the red wine will trigger hot flashes. And so people will just have to, make their own choices. And so I, again, make just
Oh, I'm
mindful
glad
choices.
hot flashes is not one of my symptoms.
And that's
Oh, so glad.
going back to people say I'm bougie, and I'm like, well, if I'm going to have a glass of wine, I just want to make sure it's a good quality glass of wine because I'm only going to have one maybe or two at the most now because I'm not going to drink a whole bottle like I used to sometimes with friends. So it's really choosing, making good choices for your alcohol. That's what I tell people. Like plan it out. Like if you know where you're going, if you know what restaurant you're going, look at the bar. Like just plan it out. Don't because if you're just there, sometimes for me, I just go with what the table. But my friends laugh at me. I'm like, oh, we're all gonna do dirty martinis. We'll do, and I kind of go with the flow.
And honestly, if you have a really good bottle of wine that you know is not good, pay the corkage fee.
Oh, we do
Pay
that
the
all the time.
corkage fee.
Yes, yes.
Like we've done that before. Like for my birthday, I had a bottle of wine from Ondrama Cellars, and it was their Dia
Hmm.
de los Muertos wine. My birthday is
Yeah.
it's November
Oh,
2nd, right? So I was
nice.
like, oh,
Yeah.
this is perfect. Let's bring this wine. And I know the vintners, I know
Yes.
Juan and Miriam, the owners of Ondrama. And I had been waiting so long to drink that bottle. I already knew it was going to be a good bottle. So
Yes.
why am I going to pay $130 for a good bottle of wine when I
Yes.
could pay a $50 corkage
Yes.
fee?
Yes.
And I know it's going to be a good bottle of wine.
Yeah. No, very good point. Make better choices or think about it, plan it out,
Mhm.
your alcohol. And so the movement, the what you eat, what you drink, and then I think one of the most important things, Jessica, that people know but don't really put effort in is sleep. Our sleep is so important. And I'm one that didn't really put effort into it because I've had kids and I've never had a good night's sleep since I had kids. I'm like, well, my sleep's already out the window. Now they're older. I don't have an excuse. So, but I've been one that always wakes up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. I feel I have a small bladder, so if I drink water at night, it feels like I always have to go to the bathroom at night. And so I just accepted that's my life. And then I realized, no, especially going through perimenopause, it also affects your brain fog more. So if you sleep better, you'll have less brain fog. And a lot of women, especially women like in my positions, if you have leadership positions, you're running meetings. Um, I've been in meetings where I'm talking like this in a meeting and I can't remember somebody's name or I can't remember a project or something very important. And I literally feel so embarrassed in that second. And then I sometimes will just joke it off. Oh, my menopause brain, and it's embarrassing. And so our sleep is so important. And there's a whole sleep hygiene that I work with women on, but it's basically no electronics, um, cold, having it a little cooler than normal, black, room. People, sleep and they have the TV on and they wonder why they can't sleep, or they watch something like The Pit. I love The Pit, but they watch that right before they go to bed. And it's like, well, then you're having nightmares or you're thinking about, an ER or something like, no.
So have to have something. I
Yeah.
have to have noise. And
Hmm.
I live in, just outside of downtown, so we get that noise. But let me just tell you, if it's too quiet, I cannot sleep.
Mm.
I cannot sleep. I have to have, so sometimes I'll put, and I won't even be watching it. I'll like
Yeah.
have my back turned or something. I'll have like Big Bang or something that I've watched so much that
It's just noise.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just noise.
Yeah.
But as soon as my husband, he will sometimes wake up in the middle of the night and watch a video or something, and then
Hmm.
it wakes me up.
Yes, I know.
I can't go back to sleep. I
Hmm.
don't get enough. I know I don't get enough sleep to begin with,
Yeah.
but what do we do? Like when your sleep gets interrupted, I feel like it's really, at least for me, it becomes really difficult to go back to sleep. So,
Yeah.
for example, if I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm up.
Yes,
Like I
I
might
know.
be laying in bed, but
Yeah.
there's no way I'm going back to sleep. If it's 4 o'clock, I can use, like, it's so weird. I've just been
No.
noticing
Yeah.
over the last like few weeks, if I wake up at 3 or 4 to go to the restroom, I can go back to sleep. But
Yeah.
if it is 5 o'clock or later, I
You're up.
cannot. I'm up.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
and then I'm tired. And like even today, that's what happened today. I got up. I think I
Yeah.
woke up at like 5 in the morning
Mm-hmm. And you couldn't go back.
and I couldn't go back to sleep. So finally at like maybe a little bit after 6, because then I was like, well, I just kind of start scrolling,
Yes.
looking at my emails, and then I think at like 6:15, I was like, you know what, screw it. I got up, I worked out, I made coffee. I started just getting my day
Yeah. Going.
just going. But
Yeah.
I was really because that is definitely a symptom I have is lack of sleep. And I feel like that's so common. Like there's some that I think are common,
Mm-hmm.
but not
Mm-hmm.
everyone. But I feel like that's one of the
That
that is
is one of the most common. You're
super.
absolutely right. And what I hear and what even the doctors leading um this menopause movement say is that the average women in perimenopause and menopause wakes up at 2 in the morning. 2 a.m. is that like time, and then 4 a.m. So 2 and 4 are the two times for some reason that are common for women to wake up. And that was for me as well. And not every, I don't want to stereotype, but a lot of men, well, one being my husband and other men I talk to can go to sleep right away. Like they can wake up, go to the bathroom, go back, and they're snoring away.
Yeah.
And so I worked with couples, and I have done in my last year I did a lot of Instagram lives. For some reason, I guess Instagram won't let you do lives unless you have like 1,000 followers, and I don't have 1,000 followers, so don't do them anymore, but I did one with my husband. We did like a couples one. Because there's a lot of divorce rate. It's actually high during perimenopause, menopause. There's a statistic on that. And I believe it because I worked with a lot of women, and we could talk a lot about that, the reasons why, but one of them, like sleep is important, and like that's something like I don't think a lot of partners understand. And especially you add in if you have pets. And I know, like, I'm also guilty of this. I have a dog that we've allowed to sleep in our bed. I know it's bad, and we just do. But he wants to sleep with his mom. So he wakes me up. He'll sleep on my feet or on sometimes on me. And so between my husband and my Labradoodle, I've struggled with this thing myself. I bought the Oura Ring. I've tried to track, and I really this is one of those things that I really help women, and I myself am transparent. It's a struggle, but you have to put effort. And so again, the phone. I know if I get on my phone at 5 in the morning when I wake up, and I'm not sure if I'm going to go back to sleep. Once I pick up the phone, I know I'm not going to go back to sleep. So I either
I
make the,
tried for like a
yeah.
half an hour. I was laying
Yes.
there because I didn't want it same. I didn't want to pick up my phone.
Yes, I
And
know.
and so I'm just like laying there and
Yeah.
tossing and closing my eyes, trying to will myself to go back to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
no.
it,
And then, at some point, yeah, I'm the same way. And then I'm just like, I'm up. What I started to do now, and I have learned and researched, and I tell women is naps. I never did naps before. Like, no way. Like I had too much in my head. Like I couldn't just lay and do a nap in the day. Now I actually do, and I read that it's actually healthy for you. If your body wants to sleep in the day, your body should sleep in the day. Now, not hour-long naps, because then you won't be able to go to sleep at night. But like 15, 20-minute naps is actually okay. And it took me a long time to accept that. I felt like I was lazy to take a nap, but now I'm
I
okay.
want to, I just don't. It's so hard. I think the
Yeah.
only time I ever take naps are on the weekend. I don't think I ever take naps during the week. Actually,
Yeah.
rarely do I. Like there's sometimes when it's just there's been a couple times where maybe I don't know if I would consider a nap or I just fell asleep.
Yeah.
When you're just so
Yeah.
overwhelmed with things.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna just put my head down for a minute. And next thing I know, actually that happened a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I just fully fell asleep. My husband came in and he's like, it's 10 o'clock. And I was like, it is? He goes, no, it's 9 o'clock. I'm like, he's laughing at me because I
You
don't,
knocked
again,
out.
I rarely take
Yeah.
naps. And this one, I wouldn't even say it was a nap. I knocked out. I was just,
Yeah. Well, your body, this is now the thing I tell myself, my mantra, listen to your body. And I tell women that whatever, if your body wants to sleep, sleep. We can't, we have to really find um cues of what our body's telling us. And I know for me, my body sometimes is telling me, oh, you haven't moved in the last few days. You need to get up. And like I just feel it. Like I feel in my body, I need to sweat. So trying to listen to your body and not let your head get into it like, oh no, I can't sleep because this and this not. No, do whatever it is. And that's what I tell women. Like just lay down. Don't think you're going to take a nap. Just lay down, rest your body, see if that helps. But yeah, sleep is so important. So those, I think we're getting back to the lifestyle changes. I think it was um the movement, the eating, drinking better, and sleep are really like the key
yeah.
of doing all those things. And everybody's different, and everybody needs to kind of see what their baseline is right now, and then what they're struggling with still, and then go from there, depending on if it's sleep or weight gain, fatigue. Fatigue is huge. And
Yeah. Oh,
then
yeah.
yeah, and then
I,
relationship issues
I
are
was about to
another.
actually, I wanted to kind
Yeah.
of go back to that really quick because you said there's statistics showing that
Mm-hmm.
when women go through menopause, the relationship suffers. In what ways have you, in your
Yeah.
experience with couples you've seen, in what ways has it, or do it seem to be most common that makes the relationship suffer? And if people are going through that, like what are some things that they can do or talk about? Or because obviously these things have to be discussed, and it's sometimes I'm very I'm so fortunate that I have a husband who's super supportive
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
met him in my 40s. Like we've only been married 2 years now. And literally week 3, when he came over to my house, I was like in shorts and a tank top, my hair in a chongo because I was on my period. And I was like, look, this is how it is. I'm on my cycle. I'm in a lot of pain. Like
Yeah.
I just let him know, boom, right up front.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he has literally been just so awesome. He was there with when I was getting my hysterectomy. He was when I was through this last shortage of the patches. He was like,
Mm.
he
Yeah.
was like, if I say I'm sorry, I am having a bad day. He's like, are you
Yeah.
emotional today? Do you need anything? Very fortunate. Maybe it's
Yes.
because we met in our 40s,
Yeah. I was
but
gonna say, I think for you, Jessica, it sounds like when you met him, you had your voice and you knew what you wanted, you knew yourself, and you were very honest. I think for a lot of marriages and women, if they've been married for 20 years or for a while, again, going back to cultural, especially for Latinas, we were raised to take care of everybody else. You're taking care of your kids, you're taking care of your husband, you're taking care of your parents. You're always managing everybody's emotions and days. And yeah, we take care of ourselves, but usually we put ourselves in the back burner. When we get through midlife and perimenopause, menopause time, a lot of women are around their 40s and 50s, where maybe if they have kids, they're now off to college. So now you find yourself in this empty nest phase with your partner who you've been with for 20 years. And now you're no more and you are more mature and you find a voice and you start to do things for yourself. And so depending on who your partner is, that they could be very supportive and great, love it, love this new you, or they can be like, who is this new you? And then a lot of women don't share what's happening with themselves. They don't even know what's happening, let alone share. So people are struggling with some of the physical symptoms and or especially the emotional symptoms. Like I'm feeling anxious, but I don't know why. Some men or partners could feel like, is it them? Like what am I doing wrong? And then the women doesn't know what to say. It's just like layers and layers and of unknowns really can cause communication issues. Again, if the sex drive goes down, then there's low libido and you're not being intimate anymore. And now you're fighting more because you feel anxious. Sometimes you feel depressed. And some women report a rage. I experienced it myself. And it was this moment of I really lashed out at my husband one time and I got scared. Like while it was coming out, I was like, what's happening to me? And I've heard other women report similar experiences. And I think I can say for personally myself and for a lot of women I know, it's if they've been with their partner a little longer and maybe a time where they didn't really express themselves fully. Now they're, again, I say it like you're finding your voice. And sometimes we don't know how to voice that voice. So we just kind of lash it out, or I don't know what's happening, but this is what I want now, instead of just saying, when I work with couples, like you can just say, like, I'm not myself anymore. And it's not you. Something's going on with my body. I'm learning about it. It's hormone related, I'm hearing. It's causing me sometimes to be sad. Sometimes it's causing me to have palpitations and feels like having a panic attack. Sometimes I feel like people just say the forgetfulness. Yeah, I had it. That sometimes causes relationship issues too, because you might forget little things like I forgot to go to the cleaners, like I forgot to do this, and your partner's like, what's happening? Why are you forgetting these things?
I zone
And
out.
yeah,
I
or
zone out
that.
and then my husband will tell me something and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I know he gets annoyed. He's like,
Yes.
"Why do I even?" And I know he's
Yeah.
saying it jokingly, but I know it annoys him.
Yes. But of course it
He's
should. I
like,
mean,
"Why do I
you.
even talk to you? You don't even
Yes.
hear anything that I say." And I'm like, "I'm sorry." But I
Yeah.
do. I will completely zone out.
Yeah, yeah. And women just are so many things. And so I think all of that could compound relationships to struggle. And so if you have a good foundation, you have good communication, you can work through it. And if you're honest with yourself and you're honest with each other, then you can work through it. But a lot of couples, unfortunately, are not. And a lot of women don't want to admit that their libido's gone. And then men have a hard time. I mean, anybody has a hard time. Women would too. Like we feel rejected. So there's just a lot of layers of reasons why that marriages struggle. And so I feel they don't need to struggle, but I mean, I think good things can come out of it. If they can get through it and start talking through it, it can be actually a better relationship.
So let me ask you this,
Yeah.
and and because as a therapist, you
Yeah.
can, whatever, if,
Oh, let me get some wine for
mujeres,
this.
if you're, I'm gonna have, if
Mhm.
you have a
Mhm.
partner, and you're struggling sexual, like to connect sexually, I would urge you to tell, and I always feel like there's some point, because I've had this conversation with my girlfriends, right? Where the men don't want to initiate because then they're like, is she going to want to or not? But then if you're not initiating, she's feel, especially going with everything going on right now
Mhm.
with your hormones and feeling like what's going on.
You're
And if
not feeling sexy because you've
you're,
gained some weight. Mhm.
and then it makes you feel like
My
your
husband doesn't
partner's,
even want me because he
yes,
doesn't. Yes,
he's
yes, yeah.
rejecting me. He doesn't want me. He's so men, if you're listening,
Hmm.
like make the move. Like
Yes,
make the move because look, if she doesn't want to, I think that's one thing. But oftentimes women are not, they don't feel wanted. So why are they
yeah,
going to want to initiate sex?
yeah,
Because I know if I feel like I always have to initiate sex, it
yeah,
becomes a hurdle for me to even initiate sex because I'm like, well, why am I always in it? Do you just not want me
yeah.
anymore?
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think it's super important, men, that you need to initiate sex.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be times where she doesn't,
Absolutely.
but especially right now when we don't feel our sexiest, when we don't feel our most confident, when we are dealing with all of these things. Because, so many women have to take care of the household, the kids,
Mm.
they're working, right? Yes, you
Yeah.
might have a great partnership where it's not just you, but let's face it, a lot of
Yeah.
times
It is
those
a lot
things
on. Hmm.
are landing mostly on the women. And then they have to initiate sex on top of all that. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that doesn't feel good because it
Yeah.
may
I would
oh
100% agree on that. I think I would also say a few things. It doesn't even have to, if your wife, partner says, they're, you know, declines the offer, then I would ask questions, and there could be other things, and maybe she just hasn't said, well, there's something going on. I'm not feeling it anymore. It hurts because it could be painful too. I forgot to say that. That's the dryness that happens. So
yeah.
a lot of women get dry, in our vagina, and that's what causes the pain during intercourse. Totally forgot to say that.
So let me
Um,
tell you, right after my
mm.
hysterectomy, oh my gosh. I like it was. I hope my husband doesn't listen to this because he's gonna be like, really? You're talking about our sex life? But I think it's really important, right? Because this
No,
is my
yes,
experience. It's
yes,
not him. This is like what my body was doing. And like lube was the best friend
yeah,
because
yeah,
I couldn't, it was like I tried and it was like my body was not
yeah,
responding naturally. Even though I was feeling it,
yeah,
nothing, like it wasn't happening down there. And it was so
yeah,
frustrating. So Lou
yes,
became a best friend, and it probably took about a year in my case.
yeah,
Maybe not quite that long, but close to a year,
hmm,
where finally my
yes,
body was responding. And I was on HRT and everything, but it
yeah,
took so I personally felt like less of a woman because I was like,
mm,
like
yeah.
I said, I wanted to, and it wasn't like I wasn't feeling it or anything, but it was
But if your body's
the
not, yeah,
mind, yeah, the body wasn't responding to what I was feeling.
yeah. A few things I was going to say about that. besides, so for, yes, I want to make sure if any women are listening and they're not sure about HRT, there is vaginal estrogen that is completely safe, completely safe. Ask your doctors, but they really promote this vaginal estrogen because you can apply it literally you topical on your um, area, and that helps bring it back to life. It's not like an instant overnight, but it does help the estrogen in this cream that you're putting on helps. That's how they've described it, like, and I actually have used it, and that's how it felt like. It felt like it was more um what's the word, it was less dry, and it actually felt like it was just back to how it was when we're younger, because as we age, that's changing too, that physically, literally, that's changing. I don't even want to say it because I don't want to say it out loud, but somebody said it shrinks up and it like goes away. I'm like, what do you mean it shrinks up? But I don't even want to
Well, I
believe
don't even
that.
have a uterus, so there's nothing to shrink. And
Yeah, so there are things there are lubes. There's so many things that can help couples when it comes to intimacy. But what I was going to say is if partners initiate and the women are not receptive just because of these physical issues, there's other ways to be intimate. And having just the conversation and opening up the conversation will help the relationship, because that will, if one somebody initiates, and then if the other person's going to be honest and be like, I want you physically, but something's going on with my body, that opens up the conversation at least. But yes, because that's a huge thing is relationship troubles, and not just with your partners. A lot of women, again, finding their voice again, finding their new you, because I have experienced it. I've kind of have evolved into a different person. I'm more vocal than I used to. I was definitely one of those people pleaser. I still am, but more so. I would just go with the flow, go what everybody says, never really inserted my own opinion. Now I'm 52 and I'm always inserting my opinion. I want to go here, I want to do here. And sometimes friendships even change, and you sometimes have to choose and say goodbye to friendships you've known from high school or college if they're not serving you, because what happens when you are at like the 50 age, you start to realize I don't have that much longer like to live. I want to make sure the rest of my life I'm with people that are positive. I want people that are aligned with my values, especially now what's going on in the world. You
right.
don't,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I know for me and my husband, we literally don't want to even support even businesses. We don't want to have go break bread and have dinner with people that don't feel the way we feel politically, and that's
And
really
it's not, I think
harsh.
a lot of it's not politically, it's a values,
It's
right? Like it's
values,
a
yes,
total values thing. If
yes,
you think that my life is not worth as much as yours because of my last name or
right,
because of where my ethnicity,
right,
then why would I want to
exactly,
be around
yeah,
you? I mean,
exactly.
I think when it comes to that, like I don't even think I've ever said this before on the podcast, but my grandpa used to help bring people over the border.
Oh,
So,
hmm.
literally that's something that my
Yeah,
grandpa would do, and then help, he never had his citizenship. He only had his green card.
yeah,
And I think when I have cousins and stuff that say things, I'm like, you realize that if grandpa was alive, you're wishing for him to be deported
yeah.
because he doesn't
It's
have his,
always the worst when it's family, huh? I know.
I want to smack a lot of
I
cousins.
know. But yes, but yeah, I mean, I think we went through all the lifestyle changes.
Well, okay, so one of the things we were talking, because obviously people have to find alternate ways, right?
Yeah.
If they're finding that whether they cut back on drinking or cut drinking out completely, I'm with you. I won't ever be cutting
Mhm.
drinking out
Yeah.
completely. I'm not even hello
Yeah.
wine and cheese man. Like
Yes.
that's just not gonna happen.
Right.
But there are definitely, I don't drink every night.
Right.
And I certainly, and sometimes I just like, if I'm not drinking wine, to be perfectly honest, I only have one cup of coffee a day, one and a half max, just because. And if I ever have coffee at night, it's not about sleeping thing because it does.
Hmm.
It doesn't
Same here.
affect me.
Does not, I
It
know.
does
People don't
nothing
get
for.
that. A lot of people never get that. Where you're drinking coffee, and I'm like, yeah, I'll go to
I'm like,
sleep.
you don't understand. I'm like, that's what we've done. Like
Yes.
as our family, we'll
Yes.
be playing games. Oh, who wants coffee? We'll be at
Hmm.
9 o'clock at night drinking coffee. It doesn't
Yes.
affect any of us.
No.
But like having mocktails, there's so many different things. What is your
Yes.
my favorite mocktail is the simplest thing ever.
What is
My
it?
favorite mocktail is Topo Chico with a tajin rim and
Oh,
lime.
yes, that's awesome. Yeah, so I'm glad you brought the mocktails up because I do menopause mingles, which I go to people's homes. It's like, when you go to like Tupperware parties or
Yeah,
candle
yeah.
parties. So I do menopause mingles. I bring my education on menopause, basically everything we talked about. I bring to people's homes and girls invite girls over, their friends over, their neighbors over. And I always will bring a healthy snack and a mocktail because just to introduce people to how tasty they can be. And exactly, I always promote, you don't, if there's a time or an evening where you're just not feeling it, just order a mocktail and there you can have your fancy glass and people don't know. And so I would bring, it was very simple, but instead of Topo Chico was that Spindrift drink. And then what was it I added? I can't even remember now, but I have recipes because I would then pass out the recipe, but it was only two ingredients. It was very simple. And then you always add some kind of lime or lemon on the rim. And there you go. I mean, but if you go to restaurants, every restaurants now have mocktail menus and they're really good. Like I've had
They
some.
are.
So yeah, I mean, definitely try to add mocktails to your evenings.
I'm
And
lucky I'm married
yeah.
to a former mixologist.
Oh, nice.
And so he's always coming. I mean, he doesn't do that anymore, but he
Yeah.
was working in that uh within that industry for like 25 years or something. Um and I think that like if there's something that I really want, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, let's do this. And he'll absolutely
I love that.
do that. And actually, Agua Bonitas, great
Yeah.
option. Agua Bonitas
Yeah.
is a Latina owned, like can
Oh,
agua
nice.
frescas.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
So good. They're so delicious. So there's another, opportunity, mi gente, so you could
Yes.
support our comunidad and have your
Yes.
little mocktail as
Yes.
well.
Yes. Yeah, we don't have to suffer or sacrifice things. We just have to make different choices and find things that, make us happy. We want to live happy, full, positive lives. And so we just have to find things that work for us. What works for me might not work for you, and works for you might not work for someone else. So to find things that you like to eat that's full of protein, fiber, and things that and if culturally there's certain things that like lentils or things that maybe certain cultures will eat more of, but just find what works for you.
Beans,
Um,
frijoles, a
yes,
very good
yes,
source of protein,
yes.
right?
Yes. Just soak the beans right before so it doesn't cause digestive issues.
Okay, so well, you know how I do. I'll rinse them and I won't soak them too long because I'll cook them in the crock pot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
Nice.
literally I will do it for like 10 hours. So
Oh, nice. Yeah.
it's, or all day, whatever. I'll do it for a long time. So I'll soak the beans. I think you're supposed to soak them for what, like 24 hours?
I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
cook a
even
lot of
know.
beans.
I do it like I'll do it. So if I'm gonna do beans in a crock pot the night before,
Yeah.
I will soak them over just overnight. So not for a
Yeah.
full 24 hours. I'll just soak them
I'm
overnight
sure
and
that's
then
fine. I'm sure they're really good too.
so good.
Yes.
So
Yes.
good. What are you when people come to you, what is the most common misconception that people tend to have when it comes to perimenopause and menopause, or whether it's how um
Hmm.
or anything surrounding that just whole life change? What says do people come going, no,
Mm.
that can't be true, or yeah, I heard this and I know this is true, and you're like,
Mm.
no.
A few things. I think people are still stuck on the HRT topic. So, we go through um, the benefits of HRT. show them the research, but that I always redirect them to their doctors. But HRT is the most common like hot topic, I think, hormone replacement therapy for those that don't know HRT. And I think a lot of women just think that menopause could be just like a 1 day thing, or it's just when you stop getting your periods and just hot flashes. I think they don't realize all the other symptoms we talked about in this podcast. So like the emotional symptoms, and those what really is what I like to help women and that are dealing with the more emotional symptoms. And most women go to the doctors or tell their friends, I just don't feel like myself. And doctors don't know what to do with that. And so then, I don't, what does that mean? And so if you tell a doctor, oh, well, I've been feeling a little depressed. Okay, here's a referral to a therapist and here's some antidepressant medicine. That's what you're going to get. And so I like to educate women that, if obviously, if there's a lot of women do struggle with depression and they do need therapy and medication, I'm not that's what I'm in my field for, but there's a lot of women that just need the education and the women's support. I think this is the age and the era of when we really need to lean on our amigas, our friends and our neighbors and our cousins and the women that we can lean on that can help us through this era and this transition.
It's
And
like
so,
right now, when you're little, having those community bonds are so important,
yes,
right, for growth.
yes,
And once you're going through this, it's like you really need that again.
yes,
You really need
yes,
your tribe
yes.
as you're going through this
Yes, because then
period.
you don't feel alone. And so those are the things people usually come and don't understand that their moods are related to their hormones. That's really the
Mhm.
biggest thing is like, because a lot of people, I just feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like I want to kill my husband. And I'm like, yeah, you and every other, like, but then you love
You
him the next day. Yes.
and every other married woman.
Yes. And so, you just have to help women understand it's not because a lot of women feel guilty about those feelings. Like what's wrong with me? Why do I feel this? And so I do love to educate and help women work those things out and help them feel better. And it's like, sometimes it's just making these some not simple. I don't like to say simple lifestyle changes because some of them are hard if you haven't worked on any of these things, but making some lifestyle changes really helps. I mean, after my walks, I feel just my mood is better. Your endorphins are
Mhm.
up, you just feel better. And so helping women get to that point, I love to do because they don't understand the connection of all of how your whole body is connected by all of this, what we eat, and that changes our hair, our nails. We didn't even talk about that, but we
Oh
also
my
lose
gosh, my
our
hair is
hair.
thinning
Yes.
so bad.
Yes.
I'm
So
like,
hair loss, all of that is
what
all
in the
connected.
world?
So you got to have collagen, take collagen. I mean, again, there's so many things on supplements. That's probably another whole
I heard
podcast.
pumpkin seed oil is supposed to help stimulate hair growth.
Maybe. There's so many
I don't
things. That's
know.
what I'm saying. I'm not an
Yeah, no, I mean,
expert.
and that's the thing. I feel like we're constantly like with this, there also comes bad actors, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
let's be real.
Yes.
With
Yeah.
more women speaking out and more women talking about it, there's with that
Hmm.
comes people that are bad actors that are going to try and take advantage
Yes.
of
Oh yeah. Sell
certain
you
women
this.
with
Sell
certain
you
this.
that.
Yeah.
This is going to help that. And I got into that. I got into buying everything. I was a sucker. I'm going to buy CMOS. I'm going to buy turmeric. I bought every supplement you can possibly think of on the market for women in midlife. And then one day I'm like, how do I know if what's this is helping? So I kind of just went full turkey and stopped everything and then slowly started to consult with my doctor and like, what are the key things for me? I need vitamin D and K3 because I'm low in vitamin D. Most women are. And so I knew I can't stop that. Fish oil, I want to make sure I do that. So there's certain supplements for me that I know is important, but everybody has their own medical history and what they need. But hair loss is a big thing. And so a lot of people do biotin or collagen for that. Um, and I've noticed it helps because I have an Instagram post I first did and it was like my wall of hair on the shower wall.
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, and it was huge. And then I saw a year later and I did the same pose and it was a lot less. It still comes out. I mean,
Same. Oh my
yeah.
gosh, I was just thinking the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you used to be even as
Yes.
recent as like a year ago, you could
Yes.
practically make a wig
Yes. It's
with what
disgusting.
came out.
Yes.
And
Yes.
now I've noticed them, but I mean,
Yeah.
you wouldn't think it because when my obviously my hair is curly
Yeah.
and I still have a lot of hair,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I feel it up here.
Yeah.
I feel it next to my scalp
Yeah.
of how much less hair I have. And it depresses me so bad
Yeah.
because I see those like I know I've gone to the hair salon and whatever, and you see the little viejitas that
Mm-hmm.
they all seem to have the same hairstyle and it's short
Yes.
because it's thinned
Yeah.
out so much. And
Yeah.
I never understood why. I'm like, why are all the old ladies the hair is so thin? I
Yeah.
never really understood. And
Yeah,
now
now
I
you
understand.
get it. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, not, not everyone's different. And I think if you have a lot of hair to begin with, I'm a similar to you that it's not gonna be the same effect. But that's again another reason why women probably, feel depressed at times because I do see and I have friends and I know people that you can visually see the difference, they don't have that hair to hide it, and I'm sure that messes with us, our look. I mean, that's part of us that we've grown up with all this hair. Yeah,
Yes. No, I
yeah,
think we all there's something part of us that people identify with us.
yeah,
Mine is definitely my hair. Like,
yeah,
girl, during
yeah.
COVID, I'm wearing a mask and sunglasses, and somebody's like, Jessica, who I hadn't seen in like 20 years. They recognized me because of my hair, and I'm sure my voice. Apparently, my voice is, I
No, but
didn't think my voice was distinctive, but apparently it is.
well, you have beautiful hair. I have a friend from high school that has similar hair like you, like just full curly, and yeah, you always know where she is because of her hair. So yeah,
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. But I mean, it's so I'm so glad that we are continuing to have these conversations
yeah.
because it is so important. I am like you said, you have people like Naomi Watts that
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
he's talking about it. Halle Berry has her own
mm-hmm,
like supplement thing.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know what her supplements cover, like what it does if it's supposed to. Do you
She
know
has a
anything about?
supplement that cover. I haven't tried it, but I think it is like digestive issues. She also has a company though. Like one
Yeah,
of those companies that I said, like a MIDI Health. She has also like a platform of providers, doctors, and that work with women and prescribe medicine. I forgot what it's called. But she also, so a lot of people are coming out. Drew Barrymore, I think, also got on it too. And I don't know if she has a product, but um, it's definitely a movement. And you can't really, for me, it's all in my algorithm. So everything I see on social media is perimenopause and menopause, but I do see it on TV now and people are talking about it.
yeah. So hers is called, I just pulled it
Yeah.
up. Respin,
Yes, yes,
what hers is called.
yes.
And let's see, I am she said, we're building what I wish I had access to. I wanted to turn the resources I had, world-class menopause experts, cutting-edge research, real support from community of peers into something that could help every woman navigating this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like they have an intimacy gel.
Mm-hmm.
They have a red light intimate wellness
Mm-hmm.
device.
Mm-hmm.
Um, now that is like the intimacy gels are pretty. They have two different ones.
Yeah,
Maybe one's just a little larger. Seems pretty. Uh, they're reasonable
yeah.
prices. That red light intimate wellness device is not cheap. That is like
Yeah,
$500.
yeah.
Um,
I remember seeing that.
yeah.
Um,
So it looks like it looks like you have uh you can shop advocacy, stuff like that, but it looks like
mhm.
it's really about intimacy, is what it looks like on her,
And the Respin one.
yeah, on the Respin website. And you can there's a inner circle. that you can do. It's 1633 a month. So this one gets you. So if you do that, um, you connect with a community of women, fireside chat and learning events by top experts, live AMA and Q&As, curated emails, early access to products and longevity tools. So it looks like there's, and then there is, just because we were talking about it, I was like, let me look it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, no.
There's a place where you can read a lot of different things. Oh, look at one of the things, her menopause, your midlife too, how to grow stronger together.
Hmm.
Uh, it's talking about sex, intimacy, and menopause. Oh my God, I'm gonna actually read some of these that we're talking about. I'm so glad I went to because I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a
Hmm.
lot of things, especially like I probably will. There's one, the new love language, supporting her through mood shifts, brain fog, and exhaustion.
There you
I'm
go.
going to send that to my husband so he
There you go.
understands. It's not like I'm just purposely forgetting because I know he thinks I don't listen to him.
Right.
But like I said, for me, it's just like a zone out. And I
Hmm.
don't even sometimes realize it.
No, no. Yes. That's good. I'm glad she has all that.
Yes, no, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Now I know, like,
Yeah.
okay, there's
Yeah.
somewhere. If people, because you are located in the LA area, you are located in Southern
Hmm.
California. What, like, do you, is everything that you do in clinic when you meet with people?
No, I do most of my stuff online, virtually. So I have an Instagram wellness coach, Susie. I have a website, Wellness with Susie, I think it is. But yeah, I meet with people usually through Zoom, and but locally, I live in the city of Whittier. If you are anywhere local, I do those menopause mingles. I've worked with and collaborated with certain companies. I collaborated with my local yoga studio, and we did a menopause workshop together, and it was a combination of a menopause education workshop, and then we ended it with yoga. So there's lots of fun things that come up throughout the year that I do some in-person collaboration events, or virtual events. So yeah, and then you talked about work, and I was going to tell you that one of my other passions is doing education workshops to employers about this because of what you shared about not, how do you talk to your boss about what's going on? And it's a very tricky
Especially
thing.
when it's a male
Yeah.
boss.
Yes.
It was,
Yeah. Yeah.
girl, let me tell you, when I had to go to
Yeah.
my boss and say,
Yeah.
it was not, and I'm in my 40s. It's not an easy conversation
No.
to say, hey, guess what? My cycles are so bad that I cannot function 1 to
Yeah.
2 days a month. I need to be able to work from home those days.
Yeah.
That's so uncomfortable
Yeah.
to,
Well, for our era and our generation, for the generation now, they have no problem asking to work from home and all those things. But I think where we were raised, a lot of, we're raised with like the strong work ethic, and you work through everything. You be throwing up, you have to go to work, or you have to,
mm-hmm.
suffer through all that. And so I think it's that trickiness of not coming off of feeling like, poor me, I need this day off, but really understand these are medical issues. These are medical problems. I've had to call I don't call him stepson, my bonus son, when he was younger and living with us, to bring me a pair of new clothes and underwear. I had to have him go into my drawer and get underwear and pants when I was working in the office, and I went through my clothes. It's so embarrassing. And why didn't I just tell my boss I had to leave? I don't know. Thinking about it later, like I just felt embarrassed to say I had to leave because why? And so then I just made my instead I just made my my teenage
That's
bonus
so,
son.
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
get it.
So I want to educate employers. I have a training that I've done with one employee so far, employer so far. I also, for therapists, I have an approved training for therapists to work with women and it gives provides CEUs. As therapists, we need to have CEUs credits throughout the year. And so just education is really my platform. I love educating women, educating therapists, educating in podcast. But I also do individual coaching on the side as well. So yeah.
And so she has group coaching, individual coaching, and
Hmm.
there's even digital courses.
Yes.
So there's things focusing on specific topics such as sleep issues, mood
Hmm.
management, I'm sure a lot more. But I think that, you know, it's so hard. And I think the one thing that is so beautiful that you're talking about on your website is that, one size fits all advice doesn't work. I know that
No,
we're talking in generalities, but you know, every woman is different,
very,
right?
yes.
And I'm not gonna lie, when women would, the worst is when women question other women about their symptoms
Oh
because
gosh,
they're
yes.
not experiencing
Yes.
it the same way. So when
Hmm.
I would have women tell me, like, oh yeah, and I know that a lot of women probably went through similar things that I did. There are a lot of women that didn't. My sisters did not have,
Yeah.
they have heavy flows, but they have not had to go through what I went through.
Hmm.
Now that
Yeah.
I know, I almost want to be like, you know what I had? I'm like, I had an enlarged uterus that was fused to my colon. I had
Yeah.
endometriosis. I had which I had fibroids, and my uh appendix were wrapped around my
Oh
ovaries.
my
Okay,
gosh.
now tell me,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
tell me how you felt, because
Yeah.
now I know why I was in so much pain. And the
Yeah.
fact that, the fact that it took so long to get that diagnosed was just
Mm, that's,
baffling to
and
me.
to think there's a lot of women out there with probably similar, unfortunately, issues and they don't even know. And they're
And
just
that's why we need
dealing
to
with
talk
that
about
pain.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why we need to talk about it. And that's why I'm so glad that we're able to
Yeah.
talk about menopause and
Yes.
perimenopause, like, because women need to know that they're not the only ones going through this. And
No.
you don't have to suffer. Like,
Yeah.
perimenopause and menopause shouldn't mean that you're suffering.
Yeah.
Just like having a heavy flow and having like all the things I shouldn't have had to suffer.
No.
And
No.
the more that we talk about it, the more we can bring it to the forefront,
Yes.
the more that we can just openly discuss it and really get the help that we need, and really get hopefully, the sad thing is oftentimes when it comes to anything, any sort of medical research, it's really based on a middle-aged white man.
Right.
And
Right.
it doesn't, women's health research is still so far behind.
It is very far behind, and
So
that's
it's
what's
like we have to
frustrating.
rely on
Yes.
each other.
Yes.
It's like the whole, um, you tell a story, you tell a story. I feel
Yeah.
like that's the age of perimenopause and menopause that we're
It
in right
is.
now, is
Yeah. It's
we're
like
all gathering by the fire telling each
yeah,
other.
like a secret underground.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how a lot of things started when, people just finding like the commonality and then, hopefully in more years, hopefully it doesn't take another 20 years that medical research will be up to the date, but right now it's not.
Yeah.
So it's important for women, what, I always tell women is document your symptoms, log your symptoms, and then take that to the doctors. Just don't tell the doctor you don't feel yourself or you feel tired. I mean, that's important, but try to be very specific with the symptoms so then the doctor can maybe hopefully be able to guide you in the better place than just a therapist or just pain meds for the pain or sleep meds for you sleeping and see the bigger picture. Maybe this is hormone related.
One last question before I
Yeah.
forget, and then I'll open it up to make
Yeah.
sure like that if there's anything we
Yeah.
missed, you have the opportunity. When we were talking about sleep, because I know how important sleep is. I think
Yeah.
we all know how important sleep is. It affects every facet of our life, right?
Yeah.
If we're not getting enough sleep. What if you are doing all of those things? Like, you are
Yeah.
sleeping at night, you have, you know, turned off electronics at least an hour before you decided to go to sleep. And Maybe you're just reading, like for me, reading a book can
Yeah. Oh
sometimes
yeah.
help,
Yeah.
right? Unless it's too good of a book. If it's too good of a book, then I don't want to put it down. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
but then I
Yes.
have to. But what, like you're in a
Yeah.
dark room, you've turned off electronics, you like, what other suggestions or what, like, do you have to try and get that? Because, like you said, if women are, and is there ways, or is there anything that we can do to not wake up, not
Yeah.
to do those 2 or 4 o'clock wake ups? Because we need
Yeah.
sleep too.
I
You know?
know. I mean, I think if somebody honestly, consistently, not, I think the consistent is the key, um, is doing all the things that you said, then, I wish I had a magic answer. One thing we didn't talk about is the supplements. There is magnesium glycinate that also helps at night, and a lot of teas and just topical magnesiums. I
Share, yes. I
yeah.
like,
Oh,
girl.
magnesium is really one of the things that people use for helping with sleep. I use this um, topical like lotion, and it doesn't put me to sleep. It just relaxes me. But the magnesium glycinate is a supplement that a lot of women say has helped. HRT, if you get on progesterone also helps. That took my 2 and 4 a.m. wake ups go away. Mm.
Okay, here's the thing.
Oh no.
My doctor prescribed that for me because I told him I can't sleep.
Yeah, it
But
didn't help you.
then he followed it up with, and this is why I haven't been consistent with it.
Oh no.
He followed it up with, but it can make you gain weight.
Oh.
And I have worked
Mm. So,
so hard
yeah.
to lose the weight that I have
Yeah.
that I was like, I don't
Yeah.
want to take it because what if it makes me gain weight?
What, Jessica, I hadn't heard that, and I didn't gain weight taking it. I'd already gained weight in my perimenopause, year, gaining, I gained 10 pounds in, I feel, 1 year, but I didn't gain more on progesterone. So I don't know. I don't know if I've heard that from other women, but that's a reason why I can see it. I would probably be like, oh no. But it does help. That helped me sleep better. Um,
How long did it take? Maybe I'll try it for to see if it helps.
it
But
didn't take long,
I'm not gonna
honestly.
lie. I need like, you're like, okay, it took me like a week. I took it for a week and then it started helping. But oh God,
It
I'm
didn't take
sounding
me longer
so
than a week.
shallow, but that's what
No,
it is. I'm not gonna
it
lie.
didn't take me longer than a week. I would say when I started HRT, which was the patch and the progesterone, I feel like I noticed symptoms like days, like within a week, I noticed changes for the better. So I would give it a try and then see if the progesterone helps.
Okay, I will, and I will let
Yeah.
everybody know because
And then I've got a
I'm not gonna
joke.
lie, that's what stopped me from
I
taking
know, I
it.
get it. I get it. I'm joking about this, and I definitely, this goes against everything I'm saying, but sometimes a glass of wine helps a little bit. One glass,
I'm not even gonna lie. I
one glass,
smell like
not.
I'll either do like a THC or I'll
And then
smoke
the second thing I was
or
gonna
I'll smoke
say
flower with my husband at
is
night.
that helps as well. Some people say they get the CBD gummies, or we got this oil that has some infused, and we put it on our neck. We don't take it, but people that do those things help as well. I mean, I would try everything and anything.
Yeah, that's what
Especially,
helps me. That's what helps relaxes me.
yeah,
And I'm not, I mean, it's legal here in California, so
yeah,
I'm not doing anything like,
yeah,
out of the ordinary, but before we go to bed,
yes.
I'll
So
smoke a
yeah,
bowl.
yes, whatever works, and because really they're saying 7 to 9 hours of sleep is what we need,
I get
and
an
so
average of probably 5 hours of sleep.
yeah, when I say this to women, I usually say don't even focus on the 9, because I don't know anyone who has gotten 9 hours of sleep. I mean, if you do, great, more power to you, but let's just try to get to 7, because most people are around 5 or 6. And so that's my goal, is to try to do 7 uninterrupted. I could possibly do 7 total, but I would, with wake ups. My
Yeah.
goal is 7 uninterrupted.
That is what I would love to have
Yeah.
7 hours of uninterrupted
Yes.
sleep.
Yeah, I know. I just probably need to sleep in a different room without my dog and my husband.
Well, and then sometimes I can't get comfortable,
Mm,
right? Like there's times where I'm tossing and turning and I just can't get comfortable. And I will, you're saying your dog, we have two dogs. We have a pit bull and a cavapoo. And the
mhm.
cavapoo will, even if we tell her to get off,
Yeah.
she'll end up, well, once we fall asleep,
Hmm.
she'll end up on the
Hmm.
bed anyway.
Yeah.
So, uh, and a lot of times she'll end up on my husband's side. So I don't care. I'm like,
Oh,
because I start moving my feet. I have a really weird phobia about my feet feeling trapped.
oh, yeah.
Like if I
Yeah.
can't, like if something's tight around my feet, I just free, like I don't like it.
Mm,
I don't
yeah.
like not feeling like I can't move my feet. So sometimes she'll start laying on my feet and I can't handle that. Like
Yeah.
I'm
So
like,
she already knows. So she doesn't even go
yeah.
to you.
So
Uh,
she'll go in between us, which is fine. Like
yeah.
that, there's, okay. But yeah, I don't like her at my feet because
Yeah.
unless she's in between us at the feet, but I don't like her like
Yeah. Yeah.
leaning on my feet because it
No,
just
I'm the same way, and
much.
I'm asleep when my dog does that, and I'll just feel. Then he wakes me up because when I feel him getting on my feet, and I'm like, oh my God, and then I kick him off, like,
Yeah,
get off,
that's
yeah.
what I do
So,
with
but
Daisy.
that's not helps with our sleep, and when when I know that, so it's like some of the things like having an animal and pet is not going to help. So you just kind of choose, but.
Yeah, but sometimes I'll come to the couch. I'll let the pit bull, I'm like, you can go with dad, and he'll go sleep on get on my spot. And then I fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then I'll fall asleep
Changing
on the couch.
positions helps. They say that that if you, because a lot of people experience, I've experienced this. I'm dead asleep on the couch watching show, and then I'll walk over to my bed, and then I'm wide awake. And so they say if people have that experience, change position again, go back to the couch, or like vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to make sure if
Yeah.
there's anything else, because we did add the magnesium in there, and I'm gonna go to CVS now because I think they actually have I think I
Yes.
had a text message saying they have my prescription.
Yay!
So I'm gonna
Magnesium glycinate. That's the key because
last night.
there's tons of magnesium
Yeah.
out there. No, I mean there's so much. I'm sure we can talk about this for more hours, but I think we hit the key points. I really feel the biggest thing is just to talk about it. And if you talk about it with your sisters and they minimize, I didn't have it. Maybe they didn't. Find somebody that will support you and understand and validate these symptoms you're having, because that's really the key. Is the first thing is to open up and be honest, with people so you don't feel alone, because that's the worst thing. I don't want to end in a sad topic, but I'll just say there is statistics coming out of even suicide rates happening with women in the perimenopause menopause time as well. And as a therapist, that's something that I wanted to learn more about. And so again, because of the hormone fluctuation. And so that's why I'm just such a big advocate. Don't sit with these feelings by yourself. Don't feel you're the only ones feeling this. Speak up, talk to people, especially if you're having the mood changes, because some people don't experience any of the physical, they just have the mood changes, and that could be related to your hormones. Or the opposite. Some people never have any mood changes, they just have the physical. Great. But sometimes the physical symptoms can trigger the mood, like you're saying, hair loss, that could trigger you feeling like self-conscious, feeling sad, where's my hair? And so talk to people about it. That's really the biggest thing. And if you want more information, just reach out, and I love to help people. Yeah.
And we will make sure, Susie will make sure all of your website, your socials,
Yay.
everything is linked in the show notes. But
Yay.
gente, you're not alone when it comes to this. Even what if you want to, like, Susie, I'm sure is open if you want to DM her.
Absolutely.
Even if you want to DM me and say, like, I actually have had women DM me before and say, thank you for talking about this, or, oh, I've experienced
Mm-hmm.
this or that. So I'm more than happy to be a lending ear as well, because
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Like it's
Yeah.
not, it sucks. And for me, having the hysterectomy was honestly the best thing ever, because I was truly just suffering so
Yeah.
much.
Sounds like it.
But
Yeah.
So for me, all of these little things is worth it compared to
Yeah,
what I was dealing with before. But some women have never had to deal with that. And so this is a totally new thing. So,
absolutely.
just know that you're not alone. You have a circle, you
Mm-hmm.
have people here. And, if you want to reach out to me if maybe you just are like, can you ask Susie this? I'm too
Mm-hmm.
embarrassed or whatever. I'll do it for you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Yes, thank
Susie. I
you.
appreciate it so
Yes,
much. Until
yes,
next time, mi gente.
yes. Okay, thank you.
Hola, mi gente. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Wine and Chisme podcast. If you would like to hear more wine and more chisme, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Saludos.